How to resolve differences between you and your partner. I have already done a video on how the number one cause of conflict between couples is related to differences, and how with most differences there is no right or wrong. Here's how you actually resolve those differences. When faced with differences, most people try and either ignore the problem or tell their partner their feelings. And when they tell their partner their feelings, it usually comes across as an attack or a criticism, despite the person's best attempt to say it nicely. Or they've tried to tell them several times nicely and nothing has changed, so they get frustrated and say it more strongly. None of these strategies work and will only lead to conflict. Often, one person feels not heard and the other feels not good enough. What you need to do instead is express your feelings on the issue using the emotions of anxiety, sadness, or shame, which are what we call primary emotions in psychology. Each of these emotions can give rise to a variety of feelings. Anxiety can take the form of stress, fear, dread, hesitation, concern, walking on eggshells. Sadness might be isolated, alone, hurt, feeling like you're missing something important. Shame can be felt like not good enough, inadequate, unimportant, not valued, feel like you're falling short. What most people do is suppress those feelings or switch from them to anger. Anger is a secondary emotion. What does this look like in practice? It's the difference between saying, "Hey, I felt really sad when you forgot my birthday yesterday," compared with, "How could you have forgotten my birthday?" Or, "I feel quite lonely when we don't spend much time together," compared with, "You're always off with your friends and you never prioritize me." It's the difference between, "Hey, I'm feeling really anxious about us not saving enough to buy a house," versus, "You're always spending way too much money and those golf clubs you bought yesterday are totally ridiculous and unnecessary." One is about how we feel using primary emotions, and the other is an attack from a place of anger. One will work, and the other will lead the partner to either defend themselves, counterattack, shut down, or some other reaction like that. Why does this work? One reason is that by using primary emotions, we aren't attributing blame for the feelings. If someone feels lonely, that doesn't mean their partner is doing anything wrong. Maybe that person very easily feels alone. If someone feels anxious about not saving enough money, that could just as well be a result of their own insecurities about finances. They are not saying that their partner is spending excessively. The other reason primary emotions work is that they have a powerful impact on the partner. Knowing that your partner feels sad, lonely, and is actually feeling those feelings when they express them is far more impactful than if our partner were to just ask to spend more time with us. This impact only works when two people are in love, which is why that therapeutic process of repair won't work when couples are no longer in love. They also work because they are a common language. We might not feel anxious if we are not saving money, but we know how it feels to be anxious, and we know it's not a nice feeling. And finally, they help prioritize needs. If one person is feeling overwhelmed at work, but the other is just hoping to spend a little more time with their partner, but doesn't feel very lonely, they might not want to burden their partner while they are so overwhelmed. But if one is very lonely and the other is not overwhelmed by anything, they probably want to be there for their partner. One thing that is necessary is that we actually feel the emotions when we express them. It's no good to feel angry and then say you're feeling sad, or just intellectually say the feelings without actually feeling them. We need to be in the feeling when we express them. For some people, they've spent a lifetime shutting down their emotions, or they're always switching into anger, and so they may need some help to access and share those primary emotions. The final step in this process is that the partner needs to hear those feelings, but hearing is not just something we do with our ears. They actually need to connect with their partner's emotions, which means feeling their partner's feelings. But to do this, they may need some help from a therapist. Someone who always suppresses their emotions or switches to anger from their primary emotions may not be able to connect with their partner's feelings, even if they're shared in the best of ways. When this can happen from both sides, each person sharing their primary emotions and being truly heard by their partner, this is how couples resolve all of their differences, both current ones and all those that will come up in the future.